2, 1.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another Painting from Life. We all just got back from I was about to say Oil Painters of America, Portrait Society of America, and we had such a good time. I hope that some of you are able to tune in tonight. This is our 35th Painting from Life. And we have the fabulous Tucker. This is our first guy to paint in a long time, and he's in a cowboy hat. It's going to be awesome. So we're looking forward to having you paint along. We have the reference images ready to go. Are they on the link ready to go in the description below? So all you got to do is click on the link. You'll put your email in, and you'll get those reference images of Tucker, as well as all the reference images from the past Painting from Lives that we've had before. So looking forward to another fun-filled evening. It's going to take me a couple of seconds to set up, so we're going to be shifting the cameras more towards all the lovely ladies this evening. We have Evie Erb over here. Hello. We have Erica Arcudi, and we have Chelsea Lang over here in the corner. One of them, because we don't have enough cameras, will be off camera the whole time. But luckily, we'll be switching around on mics so that you get to hear from everybody. Please ask questions. Tell us where you're from. We always enjoy hearing from you. Ask us questions about painting, life, philosophy, how you're doing. All those are great. Your grocery list, I don't know, just whatever, okay? SpongeBob. If you have questions about SpongeBob SquarePants, please let me know. All right, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started. And Chelsea, while I'm getting set up, I'm going to go ahead and hand you the mic.
Oh, great. I can talk plenty about SpongeBob, so it's perfect.
So this is Evie here. I'm really excited. Tucker is one of my best friends, and he's going to be right now. So it's a very special Painting from Life, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Let everyone know we got static.
So we're noticing one of the mics is just having an issue with static. We're working on it, so just please ignore that for now.
Turn mine off for a second to test.
Keep it?
Yeah, keep it going.
All right, we're back. We had some issues with the audio, but we're figuring it out. So as everyone's trickling in, they're saying hi. We have Jan Ratcliffe from Evergreen, Colorado. And then we also have Diana Kirkpatrick from Aiken, South Carolina, so not too far from us. We're in North Carolina. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to just drop them in the chat, and then we'll answer them as we are painting.
All right, well, it's going to take me a second to get my panel up, but we are looking good.
Someone will have
Let
to
me know.
repeat this question, given that I'm not mic'd up, but I'm really curious what your favorite things from Portrait Society were, whether that was like a particular talk or demo or just like a cool conversation you had. I'd love to hear about that.
So Chelsea just asked the room what our favorite events or lectures were from the Portrait Society conference. And I think probably the answer that all of us might give is Louis' lecture was really great. He packed the room out and really had some insightful information for everybody. So that would at least certainly be my answer.
Also, along those lines, also really enjoyed the face-off. Thought your painting was beautiful, Louis. I kept just walking, doing laps around the room, just seeing everybody's approaches, and it's just so much fun to look at all of that happening at once.
Off the air, I'll make sure to pay all of y'all through Venmo or something.
Please tell me his mic is on.
I hope so. If it was.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Should I answer?
Here, I can stand by you.
It's okay.
For you to answer.
Keep painting, keep painting.
I'll repeat your answer.
That's fine. I literally just made a video about this, and it was weirdly hard to talk about without being super repetitive from last year.
Just tweak this every now and again. Don't
Okay.
hold it from there,
Mm-hmm.
but whenever it gets static, you just kind of like
Cool.
fiddle with it, because that's part of what's making it static.
Just tell me when to fiddle with it, Tuna.
Yes.
Great.
We'll explain that later.
Well, my brain went to like 5 different avenues.
Oh, goodness. You know, I feel like last year I did a lot of sitting in on presentations and demos and just like seeing the sheer variety of how different artists worked was so helpful and informative. And I think just like reaffirming to basically the kinds of things that you're going to learn from, I think any really skilled artists are going to be the same sorts of things that you hear across the board. And you're not missing some secret. You don't need to like stop everything you're doing to go learn from this one person who has all the answers. At the end of the day, there's so many universals to what we do. And not only that, but there are so many, it's really hard to find like a wrong answer with painting. You know, I saw people who were incredibly slow and methodical and had a really careful drawing before they started their painting. I know there are plenty of people there who will have like a full grisaille, even if we didn't see those in demos per se. There are people who are going to start really thin, and then you see people like like Scott Burdick who go straight in with a palette knife and feel like they have like a centimeter thickness of paint on the canvas before you can even say the word block in, is what it feels like watching him paint. And it really just goes to show that you can make so many different approaches work. But I think for me, honestly, this year, I spent a lot more time just talking with other artists and getting to know them as people. I was, I think, sitting in presentations a lot less and interacting with people a lot more. And it was honestly just wonderful. It's hard for me to like recap those conversations in a meaningful way, but Portrait Society is so wonderful for just how much inspiration it gives every single time. I wish we could do it more than once a year, but doing it once a year really does make it special. And now I'm glad to be back in the studio so I can put all that energy to good use.
Yeah, it was very, very inspiring. I already can't wait till next year.
I second you, Chelsea. I think it's so interesting seeing the variety of painting, painting methods, painting approaches. You know how different painters' work looks at the end of the process. Yet drawing, you know, this simple kind of foundational elements, everyone's still thinking about, even if their block-ins are more chaotic or more, you know, methodical, like they're still thinking of those principles in the back of their mind, even if the approaches, regardless if they're looser or tighter, like,
Yeah.
and or expressive or more scientific, like it doesn't matter. Like the drawing principles are usually across the board. Everyone's still thinking about all of those things:
Yeah.
plane, shape, design, you know, values, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, there's like no magic once you get to a certain level that you like unlock some.
Or like that you don't need to think about it anymore once you reach a certain ability.
Right,
It's
yeah. It's not like you outgrow the need to think about
Yeah,
value in
exactly.
drawing.
In a way, it's so interesting because I think sometimes when you're going into a school environment or academic environment, or maybe you're going back to doing some of your skills, it can feel like, oh, maybe this is crushing my creativity, if I'm thinking too hard about drawing, or if I'm trying to be accurate, like I just want to, do something else and push the boundaries, and like all of those things are great. But it's so cool to see that with that foundation of drawing, there's so many different things you can do with it. Like, I found it really encouraging.
Yeah, I agree.
To see how people with so many years of experience, like what they're doing with it, and it looks different, but they still have the foundation.
Yeah.
Were there any quotes, insights that some people said that are like some one-liners? And since I'm not Mike to repeat this, but one-liners that people heard that were like, wow, that sums up a lot of things all together for me.
So Lily just asked whether we had any like one-liners or quotes that were really impactful. And it's actually funny you ask, because I literally just asked a group of friends who were there if they recalled like a specific quote, and someone just got back to me with one of them. It was Kwang Ho during his presentation with Ron Hicks. He was quoting Walt Whitman from, I believe, Song of Myself. And the gist of this quote, I will not recite it verbatim from the poem, although you can look it up, but it was essentially, the student who honors me the most is the one who like works with the aim to destroy me, basically. Which is, yeah, which is to say that I think when we like work alone, it's so easy to get into this mindset of like feeling threatened by other people who are really good. And when you go to a place like Portrait Society and you get to actually interact with all of these really great people, you see that, I don't know, there's just this collective energy of being really excited for the really incredible work that people are doing, rather than feeling, I don't know, somehow like threatened by it. And to hear someone as like celebrated and masterful as Kwang Ho talk about this idea of excitement for the people who want to build on what he's done and then surpass him as a painter, I think really captures so much of the spirit, not just of an event like this, but of our community.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah, I was actually hoping to get that quote in time to put it in my YouTube video, like recapping Portrait Society, but I already finished it by the time somebody remembered what quote it was. So you all tuning into the stream get it instead of my YouTube audience. Anyone else have one-liners or quotes that really stood out?
One, but when Suchitra and Scott were painting together, I think it was towards the end of their demo, she very, very sweetly, but also very assertively told someone who in the audience who had asked a question, just use more paint. Just use more paint. And it sounds like so simple, and it's something that I've heard 1,000 times, but to hear it said in that context was really just like, yep, that's something I need to work on. And
Takes paint to paint, that kind of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't know, just hearing that be said by many, many people in many different settings, I think is affirming. And also like in my brain, the way that I'm trying to process that, it's really like, now I can have like their voice sort of echoing in my head as I'm painting and just really get it on there. So we'll see if I can achieve that tonight.
Do you remember the context of the original question, Evie? Like, was somebody asking, like, how to get a certain effect, or
Yeah.
just how to get better generally?
I think they were asking, I hope I'm not wrong about
How to
this.
paint more thickly.
Yeah, they were asking about like how to achieve more impasto areas on their work. And, you know, of course it seems like the obvious answer, right? Like if you want thicker paint, you got to use more paint. But the handling of that is not always very like simple thing to mentally process if you're used to working very thin. So I really appreciated hearing her talk about that.
Yeah, I think people think the answer to that question is often like, oh yeah, use this super special medium, or you gotta bust out this brush, or whatever it is. When, yeah,
There's no magical brush.
yeah,
As nice as it would be. There's no magical brush that'll make the perfect painting.
Wait, what?
I wanted to.
There's no Santa?
He beat me to the joke.
Don't say that, they might think Santa's not real.
Oh. What about you, Lewis? Did you have
Do you want a mic?
one?
I'm good. I'm
Quip.
good with mine. I'll think about it for a second.
All right.
Did that. Now I'm having to think about it because I was like, wasn't thinking about it earlier. I was just having fun listening.
It's the, what, Portrait Society Nuggets of Wisdom.
That's our favorite quote. I'll say one really enjoyable part of Portrait Society was a late night game of Pictionary with anybody who was around, and it was really fun playing with more experienced artists and less experienced artists. We were all on the same playing field when it came to Pictionary, and it was so much fun to get a bunch of artists together doing that.
Yeah, I never in a million years would have imagined that that's how we would have ended that night, but it was the perfect way to end that night.
It was pretty amazing.
About 8 seconds of this session.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina.
All right.
You can take a break.
Yeah. Can somebody announce that for me?
So we just hit our first model break. So we're going to take a couple minutes and we'll be back in 5. Thanks, everybody.
They're loud.
They're loud. They're great guard animals, but like definitely not willing to put up with the extra amount of work that comes with it. Especially because like you can't really eat them. I mean you can, but
What's the determining factor? Edibility.
yeah. What's the determining factor about eating a peacock? Let's see. Well, one, it's kind of like a goose. The more violent it gets, the more it probably needs to go away. Similar to like certain bowls and all that mess. So like for example, with eating, like with Randy's bowl that went to the meat market the day of, because you can't, like with a bull, you cannot have it. Once it gets violent, you can no longer keep it on the farm because it's just it'll go to another farm because it does not have proper handling. It's just going to kill somebody else.
Right.
Like that's why rodeo bulls usually you see a rope behind them. Like they're usually pretty violent, but at the same time, like that's also instigated because like the rope, the tie that's on it is actually around its scrotum and whatnot to make it thick.
The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know. But at the same time, when the cowboy is thrown off, the rope is let loose immediately. So it's designed that way so it just lets loose and they don't kick anymore. That's why you have rodeo clowns, etc. Yeah, so it's like less cool than it sounds, but still like, yeah, it's not great.
Right.
But
Yeah, it sounds not great.
yeah, at the same time though, I am a crazy redneck and would love to ride a bull. But that's you know, just because the adrenaline rush, you know, that's a thing. But you know, I'll stick to
And portrait modeling.
And portrait.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, for those who couldn't tell, Tucker is a man of many talents.
Let's just say indecisive.
Should relay that to the great people watching the stream.
You're not mic'd, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's true, yeah. If you want an education lesson on agriculture, let me know.
So I don't know. How do I do this?
I
How do I
don't think
explain
you
this?
relay everything. I
Yeah,
think you
that's
give
fine.
like the
That's fine.
TLDR. Oh, did I like nail that color or did I nail that color?
So we do have some people joining in. We have Christine Long, and she says, Chris says hi from Golden Belt Studios. We also have Tanner, who is...
Golden Belt Studios in Georgia.
Oh, is it? Oh, then yes. We also have Tanner, who is a really great landscape painter and who's I'm friends with on Instagram. He's asking, can you guys please do these forever? Your voices in the background are my only way I can focus long enough to finish any of my own work. And we also have Ganis from Nigeria. And we also have Sam McLemore. She's saying, just stopping by to say hello and good luck on the paintings today. Unfortunately, can't stay, but will watch back later. And then we also have Jose Rivera, who we saw at Portrait Society, which was great to see you. He says, hey guys, it was nice to finally meet all of you at Portrait Society conference. It was a great time and so cool to be around so many great artists. And I also remember he mentioned that his son's birthday is today, so happy birthday to your son, Jose. And then we also have Jan, who is asking who is painting in the studio today. So I have the split screen up. So it's going to be Evie on the left, Erica in the middle, and Lewis on the far right. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to just drop them in the chat. That way we can answer them. We'll probably just be chatting about Portrait Society for a good amount of time because it was just so fun.
It was so much fun, wasn't it?
Have they given any indication of where it might be hosted next year, or is that
I think it's back in Atlanta,
Okay, cool.
but I don't think there's like I looked on the website and I don't see any info about it yet. But I was told that it's going to be in Atlanta.
Well, for anybody that's tuning in who couldn't make it, we all highly recommend it. It is a total blast. It was my first year attending and Erica's first year attending. And it was Chelsea's second year attending and Tina's second year.
I would agree with what Chelsea said earlier about how this year was kind of more of just talking with people and like actually getting to know people rather than actually going to the lectures and the demos and things. Because the first year was mainly educational, just like learning everything, watching all the demos. But the second year, I went more like of the networking route and trying to get to know people. So I would kind of recommend doing it like a balance of that if you can. It is really easy to be caught up in the demos because obviously they're so interesting and fun to watch. But it is really important to actually meet artists that are either in the area or just in the same field as you. So yeah, I would highly recommend anyone that's in portraiture, even in an adjacent field, landscape or anything like that, you can definitely still attend. It's well worth it.
Yeah, I thought one of the interesting anecdotes, I think during the Kevin McPherson presentation, was this actually during his? I just remember someone talked about a mentor that they had saying to get better at portraits, you need to like go out and paint a lot of landscape.
That was Everett Kinsler saying that to Shane Neal.
Thank you. That was, yeah, Everett Kinsler saying that to Shane Neal, Louis just said. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting anecdote and kind of testament to the idea that, like, you don't need to be a portrait painter first and foremost to, get a lot out of this event. Just like you don't need to be a landscape painter to get a lot out of painting landscape.
In different disciplines, they feed into each other.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, speaking from my own personal experience, painting landscape really helped me paint in the studio and understanding design and compression and all how colors and construction, all that kind of stuff. Like, because when you're painting outside, it's in a much more extreme in terms of quantity of information, and you have to compress it. And so by kind of diving into that, then it makes studio painting a little bit more manageable. So personally.
And I think that's helpful too for people who maybe like get locked into their identity as a portrait painter, who maybe are, professionally are most known for that. So then they are less inclined to invest the time in painting any other kind of subject. And really, like, I don't know, showing the importance of giving yourself creative freedom to try something new and having that be a constant informer of whatever practice you have in studio.
That's good.
Informer, is that a word? Whatever.
We'll take it.
This is why I drink coffee.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. We do the thing anyways.
It's also helpful to know that these different disciplines don't exist in isolation. And so the principles that apply to one subject definitely apply across the board.
It's kind of interesting that it works the same way with music.
There's a lot of overlap and crossover between different creative forms. That's for sure.
I find often our teaching analogies have to do with music.
Yeah, we use
Or
a lot
other,
of metaphor.
yeah.
A lot of metaphor.
I guess this is a good time to mention to everybody, Tucker, aside from being a fantastic model, is a professional musician who I have had the pleasure of being friends with for many years. He's a very, very talented vocalist, banjo player, jack of all trades. Maybe one day we'll get you with your banjo up in here.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So much fun.
What are we doing today? Goodness.
Yeah, seriously. We got his awesome hat, though. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Wear it every day.
And by the way, if anyone wants to paint along, we do have the reference images on the East Oaks website. So I'm going to paste it in the chat, but if you go to the link in the description, you can just enter your email and then you'll get access to all 35 reference images from the previous Painting from Life sessions. We have portraits, still lifes, and this one that we're doing tonight. And if you end up painting, feel free to share it on social media. We'd love to see what you guys are doing.
Oh, you know what's great? Not having your painting streamed. I can make all kinds of mistakes and no one has to know.
True. You didn't know I put the fake camera or the hidden camera behind you.
Oh, that looks weird.
Get the camera quick.
I have to stop myself and be like, oh, that's just me.
How's everyone feeling about painting a man for the first time in a long time?
Man, it feels
Super
great.
excited.
Clear angles and bone structure. So happy.
Tell us how you really feel.
Like, just my face.
I was born this way.
What am I doing?
Careful, Chelsea. I'm going to get that camera on you.
Oh boy.
Sounds like some good stuff going on over there.
Drawing errors. Drawing errors are happening. Okay. Oh, I am recording myself painting though, so I guess people will know.
You do have a camera.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Does anyone have any fun projects that they've been working on that they want to share?
Or any exciting new projects after getting inspired.
I am finishing up figuring out a color study. That has been a little bit more of a challenge than I kind of expected. I spent a good portion of my day fumbling with a bunch of branches from outside to try to position and not knock everything over all at once. So that's my exciting life at the moment.
That sounds super tedious.
What about you, Chelsea?
Ugh, I wasn't ready. I am trying to figure out, aside from trying to figure out this drawing error, I'm trying to figure out what kind of reference I need to embark on a series that's going to be more movement oriented, more dance oriented. Whether I want to stage a super like literal photo shoot or whether I want to go like the Kwang Ho route and do like lots of color studies and like really invent a lot of color on top of a value structure and do a lot of like abstraction of my reference. I am kind of mentally doing battle with this concept right now.
Nice. That sounds exciting.
I hope so. Right now it feels like procrastination. But hopefully I'll have something cool to show for it. Someone else better answer now.
My cool project, since the next portrait commission is a little bit late, so I've got to get these two siblings painted before I have to go deliver them down in South Carolina. And I just realized I'm not mic'd. So.
Yeah.
We can hear you. You have a loud voice.
Booming voice. I'll take it.
Residents. Or in South Carolina.
Columbia, Columbia, South Carolina. Two little boys over there.
We also have an answer from Tanner, which the question was also directed to the audience, so I love that you answered it. He says, I just started a new self-portrait. Turns out not painting a portrait in over a year doesn't make you any better at them.
I think self-portraits are a great way of getting back into it.
I thought you were going to say self-portraits are a great way to like feel frustrated with portraiture.
Both statements
too,
may be
but
true.
Not saying
Not
the,
mutually exclusive.
not saying the frustration won't happen, but it is useful to not have to be paying a model and stressing about that while, or a model that might not always be available. So you get a little bit more lenience when
Yeah.
or when you experience something that's difficult. 'Cause it'll happen. It's okay. Oh my goodness.
Zooming by.
Let's go. Give me a chance to mix more color. I gotta go get some color on the background.
The dungeon.
The secret layer.
Yes, literally.
Are there dragons in the dungeon?
There are skeletons.
Oh, we'll show
One real
you.
one.
We'll show you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite curious about that.
You can separate.
All right, Tucker, you're good.
You want to make an announcement?
All right, everybody, we are going to take our next model break. This is break number 2, and we will be back in 5 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please keep sending us questions. Tell us where you're from. Say hi. Anything you want to tell us or ask, we're an open book. Good. All right, everybody, we're back for session number 3.
Johnny has her neck way
I think that can angle it a little
Up.
bit.
up.
Slightly.
This way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's great. Thank you, Tucker.
And pose-wise, how are you doing?
Yep. I think he's doing pretty good to get himself in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Do you have more of an
I have
incline
more,
slightly?
yeah, more tilt to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with your chin up just slightly. How's that work for you?
Yep. Works great.
Everyone good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Woot.
Okay. What on earth is that color? to talk?
I can. Kind of enjoying
What?
focus over here.
Oh, I see.
That's the strategy.
Everybody else talk.
See what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Strategery. But I'd be happy to talk if you want me to.
I just don't want to over at the mic over here.
I'm cool with it. Cool.
Did you try that on?
I did turn it back on. Thank you for
Oh,
asking.
totally forgot.
I'm good at short-term reminders, but then my memory is really bad for long-term.
How is it that I still don't have right value for this?
Is anyone else playing the new Legend of Zelda game?
Oh my god.
By any chance?
I was wondering if it was going to come
So
up.
jealous. I currently do not have a Switch or anything like that, so I'm just like,
Sounds like there needs to be an Easter egg switch party.
Tucker, you can come to my house.
I would absolutely love to. I'm assuming Jake's been like, dove into it already.
He hasn't yet, actually.
Wow, that's
but
surprising.
it's a matter of time.
Usually he gets really into it. Or games. Words are hard. I'm trying to.
You're modeling.
Yeah.
So you can just have no thoughts.
That's the usual. Don't worry.
It's hard to have no thoughts.
No, I just try not to laugh and even laugh.
All right, we have a question from Shannon. She's asking, hi, I'm rusty on my art history. Can you explain why self-portraits are important historically and maybe why you personally think they are important?
Well, I should not answer this question
Why is that?
because I am not an art historian. Half the time y'all talk about somebody that you really admire. I'm like, I've never heard of that artist before in my life. So,
Well, I think my answer to that, at least, would be they're significant because, throughout history, obviously, photography not existing the way it presently does. It's a way for the artist to preserve their own image in their work, and also functionally, regardless of that, you are the model that you always have at hand. I know that's why I have done several self-portraits, just because I'm there already. I don't know.
You're always on time
Yep.
and you're really cheap.
Thanks.
One is really cheap. Oh, great moments here at E6G. I'm glad I'm not mine.
Hi, Mom.
Don't worry, I'm cheap too.
One is really cheap.
But I think they're also just a really good way to practice and learn. I think it can be said that, perhaps you're likely to be more familiar with your own face than any other. And for that reason, it can be, maybe a little bit less high stakes doing a self-portrait than if you were to pay a model and, work from life that way.
There's some really interesting precedent with Rembrandt using his own likeness or morphing it to add figures to paintings. So you can use it as kind of an anatomical reference. And they're interesting. I think they're different artists where they look at the viewer in their paintings, like even from Renaissance. I think there's like Raphael, has multi-figure paintings, and there's an image of him looking, at you. So there's some interesting.
Like there's even mystery behind the Mona Lisa having a bit of the image of Da Vinci in it. That's also something I've heard. But it's something to also add to this that, you know, you can also show off your ability to anyone because they know what you look like. And so they might not know if you're showing a painting of yourself, then they obviously get to have the reference right in front of them. So if you're trying to like win the favor of royalty, if you're trying to like get them as a patron at the time, it might be very helpful to have a picture of you that you've done of you to be able to show. Like, this is what I'm capable of.
I remember one lecture at FAA that had to do with self-portraits, and one of the pieces of information was it used to be called like portraits of the artist's likeness instead of a self-portrait, and then that shift came later as our kind of collective understanding of the self has shifted a bit.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Which I thought was
What does that
What does that
mean? Yeah.
just in terms of like, you know, individualism, and there's like a kind of post-industrialism thing that was being referenced, and so anyway.
Got
You
it.
can think what you want from it.
Okay.
Regardless, there was a vocabulary shift. Or even like artist as a individual in a career versus a maker for somebody else.
Yeah.
So a little bit of that in there. The person asked like historical stuff, so I'm trying to think like, okay, significance. Oh, and then of course Artemisia Gentileschi using her own likeness in for her own figures and storytelling in her paintings.
There will be the Eastix quiz.
Was it Norman Rockwell? Wasn't he famous for doing self-portraits and using himself as an image?
He did several, but probably the most famous is of him actually looking in the mirror in the back of his head and the front of his head in the painting while he's observing himself painting. So it's kind of a meta, a meta situation of painting yourself, painting.
Layers.
Something you know nothing about.
Yeah, I have no clue what that's all about.
For those who maybe haven't seen, Lewis recently completed an amazing self-portrait wherein he, painted a reflection of a reflection of a reflection of himself. How many reflections did you have in
I
there?
had to look through one of the mirrors to see the 2 mirrors that I had set up. So it's really kind of weird because there's a really large mirror and it was capable of capturing both the mirror I was looking through to see it. And so it's this like really mind-warping, hard to describe scenario that was very difficult to achieve. But it was fun. A lot of fun. At the same time.
After that experience, would you set it up differently?
I definitely won't be doing that one again. I'll be doing something far more simple next time. You know, but it was super fun, and I appreciated it for what it was. Like I enjoyed the process, and so glad that I did it that way. So if I had not done it yet, I still would have done it the same way, knowing what I know now. Because it just, I don't know. It's one that is a keepsake that I don't think I'll ever get rid of.
Your painting is why I brought that up, by the way. I didn't see it in there.
Oh, did you?
It reminded me of that
Nice.
really specific portrait. My sister does art too, so.
Sweet. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do. And setup's still there. There's a few tweaks I want to make on a few things, but ultimately, Painting from Life will be back in the dungeon once I have that taken down, which I'm getting really excited about. What was everyone's favorite, or some of the artists that like were memorable in their approach of how they painted in their demos on this last Portrait Society?
Mary,
Chin, yeah.
her, and oh gosh, who painted alongside Jeff Hine?
Rose Franson.
Well, why did I say Mary? Okay. Yeah, I thought. I mean, her approach was just so unlike anything I've ever really watched unfold in real time before. Really, really incredible. Rose Franson, yeah. Such a funny person too.
Yeah.
Like I was just cracking up the whole time that they were painting together. It was a lot of fun.
I love Rose. She's amazing.
I actually ran into her in the elevator, and she forgot her room key, so I had to help her up to her floor. And those are the kind of things at Portrait Society that you never expect to happen. Like, they're like basically celebrities in our world. So the fact that the elevator's doors open and then it's like a finalist or someone you know, it's like, oh my God. It's like if Will Smith was there or like something like that.
Yeah, that's the fun of it. And they're normal people that, forget their room keys and,
Or just want to geek out about painting.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys? Did you have any favorites or ones that stood out to you?
This was not a presenter, but I was in the expo hall, wherever the vendors are, and was like painting next to Casey Childs for a while, and I was like, damn, I really like the way you paint. I had never got to like watch him paint before.
Yeah, he's great.
And yeah, he just had a painting that was so delicately controlled and rendered. His compression of value and color was just so remarkable to me. I'm actually like literally thinking about how he painted right now as I like do this portrait. I'm trying to channel him as best as I can. It's one of my favorite things about, yeah. It's one of my favorite things about Portrait Society is that, yeah, last year was the first time I had seen Mary work, and Mary works, I think, in a way that's very similar to Rose Franson. And it just blew my mind. Like, I was thinking about Mary for all of this past year. And yeah, it's just such a cool thing to look forward to. Seeing somebody who really energizes you and makes you want to try something new and different.
That's good. Yeah. Casey's an incredible operator.
This is less about the demos, but I just really enjoyed seeing all the work in person.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing there's so much you see on Instagram, social media, whatever, their website, etc. I love seeing the real thing, and everything, in my opinion, surpassed my expectations. Having only saw it on Instagram, so
Yeah.
really, I love seeing work in person. It just made me want to see more work in person. Just thought it was all really beautiful.
Yeah, it really kind of drove home the point of like a photograph really cannot.
It just doesn't
Substitute.
take the same information.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah, I remember my first time and just being like, I can't even understand because I've never seen it in person, and like I'm kind of blown away right now. So it was in 2009.
That was your first year?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I remember
Origin
being like,
story.
It's like I want to paint like that. I know I can paint like that, but I don't know how or where to go or who to talk to about painting like that. And that was my first time of like inquiring to people. Like, where do I go? What do I do?
Where did that lead you?
What's that?
Where
to
did
read?
that, yeah.
Well, I had the fortunate circumstance of befriending both Nick Allman and Teresa Oaxaca at the very beginning, and then meeting Greg Mortensen. And all of them told me about their experiences, because all three of them went to three different locations, you know, Florence Academy, Angel, and GCA. And then they told me you should look into like ARC at different ateliers, because that was just becoming more of a thing. There's still only about maybe 10 at the time. And
Like worldwide?
No, stateside and the more familiar ones worldwide. But worldwide, I don't even know. There might have been even less worldwide.
Yeah.
But I wasn't looking, aside from Florence, because I had lived there and I knew that I could get by there. That was the only place I was considering. So anyway, it was at Portrait Society, and it was Greg and Nick and Teresa who encouraged me to go look into these different places, because the people that I was loving their work were people that had studied, had something similar.
I'm really curious what your work looked like at the time, like back in 2009.
It was, I mean, you know, we look back at our work every 5 years and we're kind of like, you know. So that was probably no different. But you could see that there was a lack of training on value control, and there was a lack of training in color control. But anyone that would have been sort of a commission, because I was a full-time painter already for 10 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really good at getting likeness still, because I had pretty strong drawing skills, because I've been doing it kind of professionally for up to a very young age, and mainly was just doing portrait commissions in drawing for like the first 10 years of like between 13 and 20, so I guess 7 years. And then I started doing oil paintings at that point. So, all right.
All right, everybody. Am I doing this again?
Well, I don't have a mic.
Okay. All right. That is the next bottle break, and we'll be back after a few more moments. Thank you.
That one.
Yeah. I'll let you.
Okay. Does anybody feel like the chin needs to be lifted, or are people good?
I trust you.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.
All right, we have a question from Benjamin Lester. He's asking, have you ever struggled with the piece to the point where you can't see the beauty in it anymore? A couple pieces I've gotten so mad at that when people compliment them, I'm like, well, you don't know her.
I think everyone has experienced that.
Yeah. Yeah. Join the artistic club right there. That one. It's usually when you hear like me frustrated in the corner going, oh! Like, is Louie okay? Just trying to figure this painting out.
I haven't heard you do that during a painting from life, so I'm really curious for the artists who are here during the day, if y'all just hear random noises coming from the dungeon.
We hear sneezes.
I was about to say.
We hear
I was just about to
sneezes.
say that you hear sneezes more than anything.
Yeah.
I'm a loud sneezer. I'll also get like this far away echo of "bless you"
Yeah.
from the girls in the other room. No, I'm very rarely audible about my frustrations, but I certainly have days that are frustrating.
That's like learning a new tune for me.
Yeah.
I'm very audible though.
I'm dealing with that with my painting right now. Like, I've just been working on it for so long. I'm just like, ugh, I'm tired of it.
A very similar thing happens with songwriting. You'll be working on the lyrics or the chord progression of a certain tune, and sometimes it'll happen in like 30 minutes. Other times it'll take months.
The creative block, man, it's hard. Do all of you write songs of yours, or are there specific people that do more writing than others?
It's a good mix. The person who generally writes the most is actually our guitar player, Courtney. I've only brought, I'll take that back. For the band, I should say. I write a lot of tunes that my band cannot play, because they're just not in the same genre.
Oh, okay.
And some of them, the skill level is a little above what we are capable of. Because some of it is at odd time signatures, things like that. And then Ben, our bass player, also writes a lot of tunes, but we have to usually workshop them.
That was diplomatic.
Well, no, Ben, he actually writes good songs. It's just he's very wordy, and especially with the genre that we play in, less is more. Which is kind of the ethos that I have toward music and a lot of stuff. Like, doing too much is way worse than doing not enough sometimes.
That's something we can relate to, I think.
Yeah, so, no, in any aspect of art, whether it be dance, whether it be painting, photography, music.
How dare you see me like that? Oh, man.
So for those who maybe couldn't hear Tucker,
Yeah,
just
sorry.
because he's not mic'd, Tucker was just talking about his songwriting process a little bit and said that sometimes in writing and playing music, doing too much can arguably be worse than doing not enough. And I think that's a very relatable feeling to painting.
Yeah, the editing process and understanding what the essential information is, I think, carries over multiple
Absolutely.
layers.
Absolutely.
Does anyone have like a remedy that works when you feel like you're reaching that point where you're getting just frustrated with doing too much? Do you have something they usually revert to kind of?
Squinting.
Stop.
Yeah, take a step back.
Go smoke a cigarette. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's the bad answer.
yeah, that's, if you give yourself space to breathe.
It's the real honesty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I give myself space to breathe.
Necessary.
Is it breathing, though? Is it?
It's breathing exercises.
That is the most clever description of smoking I've heard.
I am actually going to be restarting my quitting journey soon, so
Congrats.
Y'all wish me luck,
I will.
and I'm sorry in advance.
Oh no.
I will lay low.
You got my number, you can call me if you need.
Aw, love you, buddy.
Love you too.
How did the two of you meet?
Oh gosh,
Did I meet you with Christina?
no,
I didn't? Okay.
because I'm not sure who that is.
No, sorry, no, Christina was a friend that I was hanging out with, Chris Joseph. You know him?
No.
We were, I think there was a screening of The Room.
Oh no, I didn't go to that. I think I remember what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, that was, and then there was also another time, you know, I honestly don't remember. That was back in my drinking days.
I mean, the easiest way to answer that is that I know Tucker from the music scene.
Cool.
And
That's right, because you were working at Cradle.
yes, so I used to work at a music venue in town. And I think that's kind of initially how we first met. But Tucker plays banjo in a band that my boyfriend is the drummer in. And so, you know, just aside from us being friends and Tucker being a generally great human being, I've gotten to get more time with him that way, which has been great.
Yes.
Please don't.
All right. I'm going to attempt to work a little bit on your mouth. So
Sorry.
we'll see. No, you're good.
Yeah,
You're
I
good.
know, I
I'm
know,
just
I
going to
keep
go ahead
going.
and announce that.
Well, I get all the jitters out.
Yeah, you know that meme of like someone drawing like this beautiful, like they're working on a portrait and they've perfectly rendered one eye and then they go to do the other eye and it's just completely disjointed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. Like, I have two eyes in here. That's about as much as I can claim.
That might just be my face.
It's not.
Like, he has two eyes. It's a good start.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Oh, okay. That doesn't work.
I feel like Michael Shane Neal was talking about portrait sittings and how he generally has people talk while he's painting them. And I think this is one of the first painting from lives where we kind of implemented that.
Except we didn't. It just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I actually do agree with that. I mean, Sargent used to do that too. He said that it would bring more life to the portrait when more of the person, if he had them talking. But so for those reasons, I love it. Can't wait to be done with the mouth enough for you to keep talking.
I just buried it in facial hair. Sorry. I ruined it for
sorry.
everybody.
that's right.
Everyone's paintings are looking great though so far.
Yeah, good my stuff. I would concur.
It's like you guys know what you're doing.
Just you.
Well,
Don't jinx us, Tina.
everything sounded great until then. Yep.
I think painting facial hair is so fun. When I was working on the portrait of Brian, it was kind of strange though, because I'm not used to it. It's like, why is there hair on your face? Like, it feels wrong when you do it at first, but it's a lot of fun.
Tell you what, after, I'm going to try to speak up louder so that I can be picked up. But after Portrait Society, I crashed so hard. The past several days I've slept in, and I'm not one to sleep in very easily. Maybe Tucker can relate, but I have farmer's blood in me, so it's like hard for me to not wake up early. And I have totally slept in till like 7:38 every morning. That's like crazy for me.
Yeah, 6 a.m. You gotta be up usually.
Well, you deserve to recuperate after such a busy week.
Yeah, it was a blast though, I tell you. One of those that didn't want to miss a single thing. I'm the guy with FOMO that like waits till the last person's about to go to bed, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go to bed now.
That's what Alex said. He said that you have a serious case of FOMO.
Yep. It is the truth. It is the truth. And actually, Alex and Divya, I was proud of them. They made it longer than I did one of the nights. I think the Pictionary night.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm cross-eyed. I can't stay up anymore.
It was so great to see them. I can't wait until they come back down here for a visit.
I know. Be great. Also, Kristen Yan, one of our wonderful East Oaks girls, is about to have her solo show at Collins Gallery. Is that in Nantucket? Where is
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod. Cape Cod. We're very proud of her. If y'all don't know her work, look her up. Kristen Yan.
I'll put her Instagram in the chat.
Do that. It's, everybody needs to know her name.
I'm so excited to see her show.
I know, it's going to be awesome. Everybody's starting to get serious.
Oh yeah.
Of the paintings.
We have a question from Jose. He's asking, as you add layer on top of layer, wet into wet, do you pay extra attention on how much pressure you put on the brush and how much paint you load onto it, etc., or do you just wing it?
So that's actually a really good question, or topic to bring up. From my own experience, I would paint layer after layer, layer after layer, and I'd slam the paint on, and I'm like, why does this keep looking the same? And why can't I get more specific? And it's because I kept slamming the paint in. And so after kind of get to a space where you've covered everything and you're working on top of it, or maybe you're working into it again, I find that I need to let the brush do the work. Remember Ramiro saying, let the canvas accept the paint rather than me slamming it onto the canvas. And so that's been a really helpful way of getting a little bit more specific with my shapes and letting my paint handling be a little bit more graceful. It's because I'm not pushing as hard. And so something as simple as that kind of tweak in handling can make a huge difference.
Yeah. I would totally agree with what she's saying. I think that what I've found also is brushed, like switching gears with your brushes helps too. So putting enough paint down at the beginning that you can work with something. But then after you're doing it, it's not just about having heavier or lighter paint, but if you use a softer brush, it's not as hard to slam, or it's not as easy to like mess up
the layers you've put down before, because they lay down so much lighter. So that's just another great thing to think. But in this stage, I don't think about it as much, because oftentimes I am trying to switch colors. If I'm pushing something into something, I'm trying to switch the color to match the plane or something to that effect. So, because right now I'm still playing a bit with the drawing while painting, just to get the basic idea of what I want down, and then going from there. So. That was a great question. And Jose was one of my mentees. It was Jose that asked that, right? Jose was one of my mentees a couple of months ago, and I'm so proud of him. He came over to the portfolio critique, showed me one of his self-portraits he's working on, and I was just so impressed. He's like, what should I be doing in addition? Like, what kind of color should I lay down? I was like, don't touch it! He's like, that's what somebody else said. I was like, yes, don't touch it, don't touch it. It has just a great energy and a great feeling to it. I'm just incredibly proud of him, what he's doing. So, shout out to my buddy. Just really amazed at how he's coming along, and he's been working really hard at it, I can tell.
He also says, you guys are making it look so easy.
Well, we need to have him down also. Let him get on screen with us. If not that, if you don't want to do that, then he can at least hang out in the back and paint with us while we're doing it. That would be a lot of fun. I can see him right now being like, no, I'm not getting on. Alright, let's see. Let's put a little bit of color up here in this hat.
Yeah, there's some stains in there somewhere.
That's character. Oh, that wasn't a move.
We have 1 minute left.
Time is flying. Everybody, if you're painting along, we want to see some of your work, so make sure to submit it in. All right. You gonna make that announcement? Yeah. All right, everybody, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
I have a reason why I'm asking this question.
Well, I'm based out of Hillsboro, so I go to Wagner Tire in Auto, which is my buddy. They do for tires, especially in alignments. They do great work. Do you need some new tires?
No. My boyfriend works at a discount tire.
Oh, cool.
So
Oh, I see. So you're a little biased. Okay.
yeah, I am.
Oh, I see.
And if you want a deal, I know that.
Yeah. That's serious. Yeah. No, I might hit you up for next time though.
Yeah.
Look, no, I had to get some I've been putting off getting a new set for a while, and I needed to get some all-terrain tires that can handle pavement and mud and everything else. Because like I can't do tree work or basically farm work if you don't have tires that can't go in dirt. It's kind of defeats the purpose of having a four-wheel drive if the tires can't grip.
That's true.
But yeah. Which is why I think we all need a tank. They never say.
Okay. I think this is going to be a painting.
That's good.
Yeah, love it when that happens.
That's the goal.
Is this going to be on YouTube, Chelsea?
It is. Yes,
Are you a YouTuber?
I am.
Oh,
He's a big YouTuber.
I'm going to YouTube famous.
You are.
Oh God.
So let me know, where to plug the band.
Yeah. Our YouTube presence is horrid. I'm not the tech savvy one of the band. I'm the fix the thing that breaks the guy in the band.
Everybody needs one of those.
Yeah. Well, we had a bust in Florida one time, and we had to take the drive shaft off and put it back on, and that was, I think, do you know where those photos are of me and Ben where we're covered head to toe in oil?
I think Courtney's got him.
Okay. I didn't know who had them. Yeah. Jake and Eli are the tech savvy guys in the band, I think. And then, of course, the amazing Edie, who's done,
Honorary band member.
yeah, like, did we ever pay you, by the way? Has that happened yet?
For design stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
I was
you.
about to be like, well, you ain't getting paid tonight then. You get Evie paid.
Aw.
Yeah, no, I was,
Yeah, you're all good.
yeah, no, at one point, we were sitting there, Jake's like, hey, we can pay you, and I was like, when? I was like, we haven't?
Well, I was kind of fighting Ben on that for a little bit because I was happy to do it. Just,
You were not just fighting
because-
because you're
well.
not doing that for free.
nah, y'all are good with me. We're all caught up.
Still, you put in the work, you get paid. That's not, I'm not about that. Every skill deserves to be paid for.
Amen.
Except my comedic skills. They don't deserve to be paid.
No, that's not a skill, Louie.
I mean, it's, yeah, no.
I'll pay you to sit there and listen to how bad they are.
It's like my sister and my dad with their puns. They had a great one the other day. What?
Oh no.
Here we
You
go.
can just feel it coming.
Yeah, no, right. You guys appreciate this one. What's like the color blue but weighs less?
Oh, I've already told them this one, Tucker, because I stole it from you.
I haven't heard it.
I stole Tucker's joke, but he's got an art joke.
I have not heard
You
this.
haven't heard it?
No.
You're gonna love it.
Okay, so what's like the color blue but weighs less?
Tell me.
Light blue.
That hurt.
Yep, that's what I
That
did.
was painful.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I don't know if I should repeat that for the audience.
I agree.
Ooh. No, that's the kind of puns my father and sister make all the time.
As a dad joke at its finest.
We all appreciate a good dad joke
Yep.
here.
Where's Nick when you need him?
Yeah.
We have a buddy who used to be here named Nicholas, and he the amount of dad jokes that he can give he should have about 12 kids.
That's a statement.
This is the fun part.
Which part is that?
Just the part where like the drawing is relatively laid down and I can actually start
Painting?
putting a whole lot more color in.
Yay.
I've discovered that I'm sitting in the chair that sinks. So I'm significantly lower at the moment. I feel like Michael Scott in that episode of The Office. Does anyone want to share their favorite encounter that they had with someone at Porch Society? Like maybe favorite artist that you met that you've been wanting to meet for a while?
Oh gosh, there's so many.
I was excited to meet Adrian Stein and Suchitra. Really excited to meet them. They both were people that I started following when I was a student at Florence Academy, and just getting my feet into the whole world of figurative realism, and they were inspiring to me, just seeing the kinds of work that they were creating when I was a student. So it was fun to meet them in person.
I had an awesome time getting to meet Casey Childs and Howard Lyon. I kept bumping into Casey on the elevator, which was really funny. But he...
Especially considering he bought your painting. The painting of your face.
Yeah. Lewis did a portrait of me that was submitted for the 6x9 auction, and Casey won it, and then after he had the painting, he sort of like crossed paths with me and was like, "Oh, you're the girl in this painting," and yeah, very, very nice guy. It was a lot of fun to get to meet them. What about you, Chelsea?
Damn it, Evie! I was literally just thinking that I don't know how I would answer this question. I actually was painting next to Casey for a while, and after I'd been working for a while, he came up to me and actually Caleb Goggins and kind of Howard Lyon, like on separate occasions, just came up and said like, nice work, like keep it up, and that just kind of made.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's wonderful. And they're great like that, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody there was just so nice. Like, really, especially like, it can be kind of intimidating meeting so many artists that you've looked up to for so long, but every single person was just happy to meet you, happy to say hi, generous with their time. It really was just a whole community in and of itself. It was really fun getting to be a part of that.
We have John that says, I got to meet Shane Wolf.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, because that's first, I think that's probably the first time Shane's ever come. And so, yeah, that was great to meet him. If I would have said one, it's probably that I've always wanted to meet Shane, and it's very rare too, because most of his career he's lived in Europe. And only recently has he come back to the U.S. So that was actually really great. So that's cool.
I loved the suit he was wearing.
Yeah.
What a cool outfit. Everybody at the award ceremony just
Including yourself.
very,
You
very
made-
snazzy. Aw.
Now you got me very curious. What suit was he wearing?
How do you describe it?
He wore a very heavily flourished, embroidered tuxedo.
Slightly sequined.
Yeah.
I think there were sequins on it.
He's
That's
always
slightly
been known.
sequined.
He's always been known for wearing more extravagant outfits, and so he most certainly did not disappoint.
Nice.
Several people are like that. Oliver Sin he did a wardrobe change. He was wearing something that was also kind of like almost a what do you call it? It's not tuft. What do you call it when you sew in sort of like those cushion lines into like a cushion to give it sort of like a design shape.
Oh, like studded?
So
It wasn't studded.
pattern?
It was definitely like a pattern, like kind of quilted in a way.
Okay.
Sort of a quilted pattern.
Oh, so the padded.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
kind of it was like a padded
Yeah.
tuxedo. And then he switched after the ceremony to a purple velvet, like jacket that was also a tuxedo, but it felt more like a nice cigar jacket or something,
Right.
smoke jacket.
He also, on a different night, Oliver was wearing a jacket that was really cool. It had like these stripes in the front that looked almost like, sort of like a nod to like a marching band outfit or something maybe, but like very, very cool. And they were like embroidered. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody had such cool outfits. It's fun to see. It's fun to see people get dressed up, when, we can't always do that working in studio.
Yeah, it's your one time of the year to get. It's your opportunity.
Get fancy
If
with
you like
it.
to get fancy, this is your chance.
I just want to know where to get the clothes. Like, I've always enjoyed actually having a decent outfit. I just, one, can't find them, or B, can't afford them.
Good question. I would like to know where you got his clothes to.
We have another comment from John. He says, hello, Lewis. We met briefly. It's Everett from Georgia, one of the guys studying with Jeff Hine.
Nice. Nice. It was nice to meet you. Jeff had his whole posse out there. That was great to see. I'm assuming you were the one that was online, considering you're in Georgia. But I definitely remember your face. So there was a whole crew. I didn't meet all of them until like the very, very end, and they were all going to, I think, the museum or something. But Jeff has a great group of people.
Where is he based at, Jeff Hine?
Salt Lake.
Okay.
So, but he has a online course with Sentient,
Oh.
and so I think he was a part of the online course.
He also says, the dude wearing the 1700s garb was my favorite.
I think it was Michael Harding.
Yes, that was Michael. Yes, it was. He was sitting at my dinner table with Jeff. Jeff and Michael Harding were at my dinner table, and Tony Ryder, which that was awesome. He's a legend. And, it was really fun to meet him. I'd never met him before, so that was super cool.
The guy wearing the kilt really
Yep, that
Yeah.
was Jay.
representing.
Jay came up and talked to me about dancing for a while everyone was playing Pictionary.
Oh yeah?
Had a great conversation with him.
I think he and I are doing like a little podcast interview next week.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
That'll be fun.
So if you're watching, Jay, shout out to you, buddy. We were just discussing dates and times today.
Nice.
Is it a kilt or a tartan?
Both.
Ooh.
I think. Yeah, I think he had both.
What was the kilt or what?
Tartan.
Tartan.
What is a tartan?
One has your family colors and it's technically not. A kilt is more of a, Edie, help me out here.
All right, so a tartan actually refers to the cloth itself.
Oh,
So
okay,
technically,
it's like the colors of your family?
yeah, so a tartan can refer to the cloth that a kilt is made out of, but it can also refer to the cloth that is draped over the shoulder. That you then have your clan crest pin on. And I'm pretty sure he was wearing both from what I can recall.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, he looked amazing.
Thank you, Edie.
Yep.
Words are hard and my brain is not functioning.
We know that feel.
I don't know about y'all, but I thought like I'd be exhausted today, but I'm having a blast.
This is great.
I was dragging earlier. I was like, man, come on, Lewis. Pull it together.
Yeah, you got your second win.
All because of you, buddy.
I wouldn't go that far.
You're killing it up there. You're doing great.
Yeah, I'm doing awesome.
Tuesday down to too early.
We have about 1 minute left in this session.
Man.
A little less than an hour left. It's 8:09.
Oh boy.
I was just starting to get, better not even get too much into it because I'll have to reshift it around. So. So we start working on those too.
I want to get more into his forehead. There's a lot of really cool, I'm not sure about y'all's angle, but the shapes that are happening on his brow right now are really, really nice.
They are. That's going to be fun. All in due time. All right, everybody, we're going to take another break. We'll be back shortly.
All right, and we're back. We're at the last about 45 minutes. So everyone's power painting and trying to get this thing finished before it ends. But if anyone has any questions, as always, feel free to just let us know in the chat.
Louis, I was trying to think, the last time we had a hat was when your mom was modeling, right?
Yeah, that's right. Still probably one of my favorite paintings. The challenge to paint during it, but I kind of played around with it afterwards and gave it to her as a gift, and she loved it. So recently she called me up and was like, "I'm getting a frame. What do we need to get?" you know. So I kind of like this online that they're helping her get a frame for it. That was a fun hat.
Yeah.
Looked really good on her.
Yeah, my mom, she has a very theatrical side to her, and so she has like a, she's done like lots of plays and stuff in sort of community theater style, and so she has an extensive wardrobe of fun things. She would have fit right in at Portrait Society. Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting more theatrical dressing this year, but I feel like it was a little toned down this year compared to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, that makes me excited to see
Happens
what's
in the
there
future.
next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was it at this year?
DC.
Do they usually cycle through Atlanta and DC?
Yes.
One more.
Philadelphia.
Oh.
They tried to do Florida during the pandemic, but that was the first time they ever done that. And so yeah, I enjoyed it when it was in Philadelphia though too, because the Philadelphia Museum was really great,
Yeah.
and it wasn't far at all from it. So I hope that returns sometime in the future.
Yeah, I've never been to Philadelphia. I'd be cool to go.
Yeah, it's fun. I used to love going to the PMA when I was in college in Baltimore. I would just hop on a train and go. It's a great museum.
I forgot you were in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough data storage in my brain.
It's okay, I don't either. Good.
Cannot do that right now.
Do you need one?
What you got?
What size are you looking for? I've got.
You know, 1 or 2 size.
I have a big chonker, and then I've got this teeny.
I think I got a teeny.
Okay.
I'll take my teeny.
These are the technical terms for brush sizes.
Who dropped a brush, by the way?
It's cool.
We do that a lot.
There's a lot of
Surprised I
brush
haven't done it
strokes
yet. It's usually hallmark of painting from life is me crashing some brushes down.
What am I doing? Proving just how forgiving oil paint can be.
Oh no.
Did anyone buy anything fun at the vendors area at Portrait Society?
I got a beautiful frame from Masterworks that I am super excited about.
Cool. It's pretty fun.
Stocked up on some rosemary brushes.
It's always a good thing to do when you're at Portrait Society. Go get them, that cheaper rate.
I think that was one of my favorite parts is getting discounted art supplies.
Yes. It is pretty huge.
I almost wish I flew in instead of driving so I would have an excuse as to why I couldn't buy as much stuff as I did. But my mind was, oh, it'll fit in my car. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, I was tempted to look at some of the new wave palettes, but after getting that frame, I had to stop myself.
Yeah.
I love the new wave palettes though. Well, I have the wooded one. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
I've had it for like 4 years, 4 or 5.
Maybe that can be my impulse buy next year.
Yeah.
I remember the first year there, the guys are super nice, and I bought one that first year that they were actually starting their business.
Oh.
So
That's exciting.
yeah, just two brothers
Yeah.
starting it up.
I'm glad they're doing well.
Yeah, they're doing great. Or at least they seem like they are.
Man.
Now that sounds like a sign of victory right there.
Yeah.
You got this.
Ears are just, there's just so much happening.
In my ears?
Any
Really?
ear.
I mean, is that really
Mom always said I had beautiful ears.
I was about to take it to a literal sense and be like, well, I do hear things.
I do keep hearing things.
Mm-hmm. Don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, how do I create any kind of visual hierarchy?
Sounds like a good topic for a YouTube video, Chelsea.
Oh, I have to solve the problem first. Trade you if you want to paint an ear.
No, I am just fine. I often don't paint ears much. I find that I don't ever get a chance to get around to it.
I find with ears, they can either be really good or not good. Like it's hard to get an average ear.
Yeah, I think this is going to be occupying me for the rest of the session.
We do have 10 minutes.
Thanks.
Plenty of time.
No, it's encouraging tuna. Tuna is so good about being encouraging. Like, oh, we got this.
No rush.
Okay, I think if I can get these two edges. Yep.
Is that an official sound effect? Edges?
That was the sound effect of maybe not. Maybe that wasn't the secret.
I can tell everyone's concentrating.
Yep,
Yeah.
heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is where it gets quiet.
It's these like last two sessions, it's like we're all, it's for all the marbles.
Crunch mode.
Mm-hmm.
just need to stop looking at it.
Well, I think everyone's doing a really good job. They all look great.
You can't
so far.
see my painting.
But I know you're good, Chelsea.
But I know it's
Thank
amazing,
you.
Chelsea.
I can tell.
Fine.
Take the compliment.
You know what? I'm just gonna paint his neck. It's gonna be great.
I had a really good conversation with Max Ginsberg when we were at Portrait Society. This was prior to him eating my bacon from my breakfast bowl.
That's a great clip, like a hook.
Yes.
Story right there.
But I was just eating my little breakfast bowl that the hotel had available, and he just kind of like sauntered up and ate his yogurt parfait next to me, like not intentional. We just kind of ended up sitting next to each other, and he gave me like a little portfolio critique, which I was really appreciative of. And he also mentioned about a little saying that they have in the studio, which is big artists use big brushes, and tiny brushes are the devil's brush, which I really loved. And then after that, he saw my bowl of breakfast food, which had scrambled eggs and bacon, and I hadn't finished my bacon, and then that's when he pointed at it and he said, "Is that someone's? Are they gonna finish that?" And I said, "That's mine, Max. You can have it." And then he ate my bacon after that. How can I say no to Max Ginsberg?
Yeah, that's true.
Did I tell you, Tina, I bumped into him at the National Portrait Gallery. And yeah, he was really, what a sweet guy. Yeah, hearing him critique Sargent was something I don't think I'll ever forget.
Oh my God. What was the critique?
I'm blanking on the name of the painting, but we were looking at this one painting, and he was talking about, I say critique, not, in a negative connotation, of course, but we were talking a lot about the positioning of the hands in this particular painting and the abbreviation of the fingers, particularly around the knuckles. Yeah, and then there was one part of the painting where it almost looked as though maybe he had like scrubbed it and repainted it, and so we were like sort of debating on what might have happened there.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
I actually had a really fun conversation like that with Paul. Last year's Portrait Society. We were looking at the finalists together. Somehow, like, it was an empty room, just him and I. And he was like, "What do you think of this painting?" And like before I knew it, he was just geeking out, telling me how it reminded him of this Sargent piece. And he like pulled up this Sargent piece and was just,
That's awesome.
geeking out about it, talking about like the technique that he must have used, and it was such a great time. Paul was actually the first person that I bumped into this year. It's just, I don't know, a lovely person.
Yes, he is a lovely person and well-deserved honor.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine having to fly all the way from Australia every time you're a finalist, and the amount of times he's been a finalist?
Yeah.
So happy for him, and I've always had a high respect for him. So many people, I'm so glad I'm not the judge. So many people, it was so deserved, and deserve such high honor. It's kind of like you wish there were like 5 grand prizes. So it was just amazing how many people had wonderful work.
I do like how they have the people's choice option too. That we kind of feel like we have a voice in what we like.
Yeah, totally. You sharing it with the class?
I was like,
over
is
there?
that a
I
snack?
literally
Something
turned
random.
off my microphone just now.
I was about
so
to,
that no
that's
one
what I
had
was
to
thinking
listen
about. I was
me.
thinking to myself, I was like, I bet you
Yeah,
that
let's
mic's
do
picking
some
it up.
ASMR. This is a sound of me eating a coffee cake.
Thank you.
I liked that flare. The sword from the sheath.
Yes.
That was like
This is the
the
selected one.
Yes.
painter's version of Salt Bay, right there.
Forgot about you.
I forgot about that now.
Are you a fan of Doctor Who?
Am I? I have watched it on several occasions. I would not, I would not give the disrespect to all the incredible fans out there to say I am, but I have enjoyed watching it multiple times.
It's a very David Tennant-esque of the sonic screwdriver. It's-
You are like the most surprising cowboy I've ever met.
Oh, I'm definitely a nerd. Like I'm currently I'm DMing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign
Perfect.
that incorporates.
Oh, you're Chelsea, and you should, hang out
Yeah.
because
So
Chelsea's a big D&D person,
well,
right?
I'm also incorporating Lovecraftian lore, like with Cthulhu and that was for some bunch of other stuff. Because just I don't know.
1 minute less.
37 seconds.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that tiny mark is gonna change everything. Oh, okay. It's a shoulder now.
Dun dun dun.
I'm taking a break, so I'm just gonna heckle everybody.
Hey, give us the play-by-play.
Commentary.
I forgot who said that. I think it was Nick at the Face Off. He's like, let's heckle Louie.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Tucker, you're good.
Cool.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute model break and we'll be back.
So this is probably the last session.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh. Okay. All right. Panic mode. Whew.
Countdown initiated.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that movie? 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
What's the guy's name?
Dave,
That's a date.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a while.
I think it is Dave.
Dave's not the name of the robot, though.
No, it's
No,
Hal.
Hal.
Yeah.
Where are you going, Dave?
Yeah. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a comment from Kareem from London, UK. They say it's almost 1:45 a.m. here, but I am so hooked on watching your painting process, alla prima, and your chat.
Thank you.
They ask, what mix of solvent or medium, if any, do you use in your process?
I'm not using anything right now. Just the paint.
Same here. I'm actually, well, I am using a bit of lean medium, but I'll use that at the beginning. I'm not using anything at the moment. So,
Not that you can see my painting, but I'm using foliage gel.
And I'm using nothing at the moment, but when I first started out, I did use just a teeny bit of lay medium.
When I was at Portrait Society, I picked up a tube of Venetian medium from Natural Pigments, and I've been dying to use it because it looks so beautiful. And I read on the description on the back, it's mixed with like, and not glass, but like some kind of crystal and lead. Also, yeah, silica. And I'm so excited to use it in my next painting, whenever that is.
I'm so glad that people are enjoying, like, tuning in, that they would find it hard to even go to sleep. That's really makes me happy that we do this.
And I feel like there's a large portion of people watching that just genuinely just want to listen and watch and just kind of while they do their own thing, and they're not as active in chat, but we're still keeping them company, which is, it's nice to know.
Yeah, it is nice to know.
That's oddly very sweet.
We love keeping people up at night.
With our extreme hobbies, painting.
Yeah, extreme sports of painting.
Controversy.
We're going to paint with flamethrowers.
Yeah, next PFL challenge.
Yeah. Paint with a flamethrower.
That's a bit dialed up from wood burning on painting and whatever else.
Yeah.
We have a comment from Leslie Paulus, I believe is how you say it. And she says, Chelsea, I'm painting along and enjoying this immensely.
Yay, I'm so glad, Leslie.
Get some of this.
Oh no.
I can't get that song out of my head now. Tucker, the one you're, the country music song.
Oh, John Michael Montgomery?
Yep.
Yeah. If you want another one, just let me know. There's about 20 on here going all the time.
The voices never stop.
Oh, that's right. No. At least it's not crusty crab pizza.
Yeah, oh, crusty crab pizza.
Yeah, damn it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, crusty crab.
Amazing.
You're talking to a huge SpongeBob fan, so.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. I figured you'd appreciate it.
Yep. And that will get in my head. And has.
So,
I think I need to stop painting. Forever. I'm not cut out for
that's
this.
an extreme statement.
Never again.
There might have been statements like that before. By people in our field.
Oh, I've said that about music before. I'd have,
Yeah.
have a bad day.
No, stop. I was just thinking that. Oh my gosh.
It's like, no! It's like you can read my mind. Let's brighten everybody up. I'm gonna soak at the sun.
No. It was bound to happen at some point tonight. It's always a toss-up of like, which song is going to get stuck in my head tonight?
You want some Rammstein?
I'm good, but thank you so very much.
Oh, did I tell you, Evie, that my dad is into techno?
No,
This is just a great
and
conversation.
I love it.
that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, he's the one that got me into Devo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was the one that turned me on to Devo, like way back in the day. I grew up listening to that stuff. He was into Devo when Devo was not cool, like back in the early '70s when they first came out. And then, yeah, he's always kind of had an odd, eclectic mix for like what he listens to.
We have another comment from Lucas, and he's saying about the some people are just watching and not, engaging, but we're still keeping them company. And he's saying it's true. I've been drawing while watching you guys paint. It's the best company ever. It's the very first time I ever caught you guys live. By the way, cheers from Brazil.
Wow,
Oh my
that's
gosh,
awesome.
that's
you
so
so
cool.
much.
That makes me so happy. First time catching us live. That's amazing.
Yeah, gotta turn on those notifications, guys.
Right.
Plugging social media, that's the thing.
Ask him. What time is it?
Yeah, what time is it,
I
Lucas,
think we're
in
like
Brazil?
an hour ahead of
Yeah.
us, right? It's like 10.
Yeah, one hour ahead or so. Yeah, depending on where they are.
Yeah, Brazil's pretty wide. They're pretty big. I think are they 2 time zones?
I'm sure.
Oh,
at
I
least
think
two
they
times.
might be.
I would
Yeah.
think they would.
Yeah.
It's always tricky at like the last session trying to figure out what
What's the most
you need to prioritize. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, Lucas says they're an hour ahead, so it's 9:53 p.m. there.
Cool.
Your palette knife came in clutch, tuna. Thank you.
We have 8.5 minutes.
Oh.
Oh no. That's another one that always gets stuck. Every time.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
You fit in well here.
Yeah.
Wow, my brain took a tangent. You said fit in well, which then reminded me of Cinderella's slipper, which then reminded me of Wow, Levitt's Cinderella Man.
What was the time you say?
7 minutes.
You said 8.
Time went by.
Scary thing. There's so many like beautiful planes that I want to get in. That I don't have time to get in. Like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, okay, that's awesome too. So which one do I want to do? Can't do both.
Yeah, I always feel like the last session and the first session are the hardest.
Especially to talk and paint.
I'm cleaning brushes. You need some filler?
It's also really impressive that you guys do this in like, what, 3 hours?
Louis, I love that mark you made on in between the eyebrows.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Or like where my little star crevice is?
Just gives you a nice concerned furrow.
Yeah, that's actually where I got mauled by my dog when I was a kid.
Wow.
Oh, then that's definitely something we need to get in there as part of our identity.
Oh God.
Trauma?
No. Just, Wishbone was he was named after the dog too.
Perfect.
Yeah. He was a half Jack Russell Beagle mix that was just a ball. You can imagine a ball of fire. He'd get everything. When we first had him, he was like 2 years old, and we found him stuck in a tree. Because he'd run up the side. It was like kind of at an angle, and he ran up and got stuck in the fork, and his short little legs couldn't get. He just couldn't get the front or the back.
Oh man, this could turn into a country song.
No, it was hilarious. No, it was definitely like him barking, not giving a care. He'd treat a cat and was like barking up at it, and my dad's like, "Where is this? Where is he at?" Like I can hear him, but I don't know where he's at. And he looked up and he was in the tree.
Those are ugly marks. always a tricky stage of wanting to make quick decisions because you're running out of time, but you don't want to be messy.
You
When
just read my mind.
One of the things I start thinking about that I should have been thinking about, I mean, I've been thinking about this whole time, but it's one of those things where I really try to think about it now. It's like just clean up the edges that I think are important to clean up. Because at least I feel like that's one of the areas that I always tend to leave too much at the end, and then I don't have enough time to get to all of them.
We have about 2.5 minutes left.
Right, I'll just put in a little bit of this shirt if I can. Let's see if I can.
sometimes it's better to just slow down instead of speed up in this last session.
What was I said earlier, less is more?
Less is more.
It's very true.
Yeah, that's why I stopped painting.
Sometimes I like when I'm painting quickly like this on this part of the painting, I find that I'm making abbreviated marks that are really nice, and I'm like, why didn't I just do this at the beginning? Like,
I know, right?
be okay to make these abbreviated marks and just trust my instincts. It's almost kind of like what was happening at Portrait Society. You just get into the flow, and all of a sudden you realize you just trust the instincts. Just keep.
We've talked about this before on Painting from Life, but varying the timing of your exercises and your paintings.
Yep.
You know, if you're used to painting long studio paintings,
Yep.
doing quick sketches, and vice versa. If you're used to painting quickly, sometimes really spending time and taking your time and for thorough, detailed observation can end up making the work that you do quickly more meaningful because you're understanding more and your marks can have more behind them.
Wow, what fun that was.
That was
Oh, man.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah, thank
so
you.
much. It was
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you everybody for joining tonight. I'm gonna just like steal somebody's mic and make it really close. So thank you so much for joining. Please, if you want, go through all of our other ones. We do this if you get on our email list at info@eastoak.studio. There's a link below, and put your email in. You'll see the announcements when we do these live, so you can ask questions and paint along. And we look forward to seeing you at the next one, episode 36. Good night, everybody.